All right, this is a 15-cent lesson here. Are you ready? We are going to adjust our hopping foot height. And you need to make sure that it is high enough to not move your fabric around. Like, you'll get migration of your fabric if it's too low. And if it's too high, your fabric will bounce and you won't, it won't close down on that sandwich, so it will fail to form its stitch. So sometimes if you have a skipped stitch, it might not be timing at all, but it could be the height of your hopping foot. So the way you adjust that is you take off this faceplate here so that you can get into the inside part of the machine. And we've got this front bar is the needle bar, so you can kind of look and follow that down. And then the one behind it, just like in here in the casing, the one behind it is for the hopping foot. So the way that we loosen that so that we can higher it or lower it would be with an Allen wrench. And it should be pretty tight. So this is one of those that you're going to have a good Allen wrench and a little strength to go with it, so that you can loosen it. Now you'll see the hopping foot can go up and down. It's just sliding in there because I've loosened that set screw. It can also twist to the side. Now, I'll confess that it has happened here that we have had our hopping foot get twisted up in the batting on the edge and it gets tugged, and that's been knocked loose. So if you ever find it like it is now, so that your needle is not centered in your foot, you can see the needle is to the right and the foot, is way there to the left. You need to fix that, and the way you do that is the same way you would change the height. You can change the rotation and the height. So now I'm going to make sure that I get it as it should be. Now I want to make sure I bring the foot down completely with the flywheel. So it's in the fully down position right now. And I want my foot to be on a dime. Now, if you sew on very thick things, thick polyester or thicker quilts, you may like it better on a nickel. But the height of that should be somewhere between a dime and a nickel. Here we usually use thin cotton batting, regular quilting cotton, and it's not very thick, so a dime is the right setting. Now that's ready to be tightened up. This right in here is the Allen set screw that will tighten that up. And you have to be strong here because you don't want this to get knocked loose, to twist on you. When you think of how many times that hopping foot comes down, there's constant pressure on that hopping foot to get shoved up higher. So this might be something that you're just going to, keep your eye on. There may be times where it needs to be adjusted, and that's perfectly normal. So pull that out, and I'm going to pull up my needle. By hand, I'm going to put it down again. I'm going to make sure that my dime is not over the hole, so I come down and hit it. Now that foot, it's real tight there on the dime. The nickel can't go under. So it's on the low side, but it's acceptable. If you will need it a little bit higher, you'll know how to adjust it. But that centering, this is something you may notice when you do stitch in the ditch. You put your ruler on, and when you're on the left side, your gap between the edge of your ruler and your needle seems narrower than on the other side. That means that you need to give that a little twist so that your needle is in the middle of the foot.